Hi everyone, MORAY here. How are you all? I'm here once again with another exciting craft video. Today I'm going to be doing decoupage. I'm sure a lot of you know about decoupage, but those who don't, it is basically a craft that we do with paper and pastings. So we can make so many different craft items. Today I'm going to be making a very unique craft item. It is a matchbox holder. Now, maybe a lot of you would say that we don't use matchboxes in our houses anymore, but I feel that it is something which is really, it's classic. And if you make it, it reminds me of the old days that we could sit in front of the fire and have the matchboxes to light it. So today I'm going to make a fancy one so that we can introduce this again in our houses and keep it on our coffee tables. It looks pretty, yet it is very good for you to do. So let's begin. The things that we would need is the MDF. Here I have MDF pieces which are 4 by 4 inches in square. I need 2 of these. Then what I did was that I have print of my choice. You can do yours, whatever fancies you. I loved these colors and the flowers, so I did this from Epson inkjet printer, and the paper I used is a photo paper. Usually people do a little thinner papers for a decoupage, but it's a personal choice. In some of my projects I will be doing rice paper or napkin papers for decoupage, but for this particular project I've decided to use photo paper. So, and then of course we need our glue and glazing, and for decor we will be doing a little bit of the air dry clay, and then our final, and of course not to forget, our matchboxes. So to begin with, first of all, we need to see how much of the design that we need, and this is our design guard that we're going to center it for our flowers and make an impression. So I'm drawing right on top of the flower because the rest of the piece is going to be cut out, so I'm not worried about the lines on the printed side. Okay. And I'm going to do the same with the other piece. I'm going to center it for the design that I like and then trace around it. This is a nice, simple, but yet very interesting craft or an art piece that you can make. You can make with your children at home now that the winter holidays are going to be beginning. I think there are a lot of activities that you would need to do with your little ones who are going to be at home. Okay, so I'm going to position my this. I would need my glasses. Go. There you go. So now you can see I have a nice beautiful square piece. I'm going to do the same with the other one. This is where I want to take my piece up there. And it's to the other side. And here we're going to do our last piece. Cut all the sides. So here you can see very well we have our two perfect squares and the flowers that I wanted. So I'm going to keep our thing aside. Let's have our workspace all cleared. Now the next step is, of course, in decoupage we always need glue. Here I'm using PVA glue. PVA glue is water soluble, and I've mixed a little bit of water in it, so make it runny enough for me to apply on my work surface. Remember with the last time, I always told you with a nice rag, always clean your work surface so there are no dust particles. So there we go. Now since we're just going to be using the top part, so that's the part that we're going to be applying glue. I try to apply thin layer of glue so that it's not clumpy and it doesn't. There we go. Nice even strokes. Going to be lining a piece right on top. Now I have to, I'm using my tissue paper just to make sure that there are no bubbles underneath and that the glue is evenly spread on along. I'm going to do the same with the other piece. Again, we're going to be spreading it out evenly, all the surfaces, especially the corners, because we don't want our corners to be popping up. Okay, I'm going to align it. Then okay, so now we have our two pieces which are nicely done here. Now on the reverse side, what we're going to do is, just for the aesthetics, we want to give it a little solid color. So for this I would be using black acrylic paint and I'll just paint on top of it. I'll do the same with the other. If you notice, I'm not using water with this acrylic paint because I don't want it to be too runny. I just want to cover the area, and if it's too runny, I'm a little worried that it may run over our photo here and might put a stain on it. So this acrylic paint is quite easy and very nice and smooth to cover the surface. So that's the back, and as I said, always have a handy rag with you so that you can wipe your hands and it's not going to come on top of your workspace. Now the video is going to get a little noisy because I have my heat gun. I want to expedite. If you're at home and you're doing it and you want to air dry it, that's fine. You can leave it for a little bit and it will air dry it by itself. I have to expedite, so I'll be using my heat gun to dry it off. So it's dry. As I said, always the tissue test, and the tissue comes out clean, so that means it's dry. Now the interesting part are matchboxes. You can use any size. I have selected these. Now how are we going to place our matchboxes? That's the whole trick. This is how the placement of our matchboxes. We need 4 of them here. So this is how our matchboxes are going to be placed on it, making sure that the part where your match is going to rub against and you can lit it, it has to be outside, although they have on both sides, so that's okay. So we will be gluing this on top of our MDF. But just a little goes a long way, and this comes right at the edge. Okay, now the second one. Just going to come this way, again right at the edge. Third one. Now you'll be wondering, why am I doing it like this? Now the reason is that I have to place it in a way so that once we put on the top part, you are able to open the matchboxes easily. Okay, we're going to go right at the edge of it and then press it down. Okay. Just see all around. If you're happy, then that's it. Now we're going to put our glue on top of all the matchboxes, making sure the corners are done nicely. So then the second piece is going to come right up. So you sandwich the matchboxes right in the with these 2 pieces. Press it down nice and hard, making sure that your corners are all aligned and well. It's already looking beautiful, but we still need to do a little bit more with our matchboxes. Now I'm a finish freak, you can say. I need everything to have proper finishing and all, so for that you can leave it the way it is if that's your choice, but I go a step further. One is that we need a little bit of a handle to pull our matchboxes out. So what we will do is we'll put a small tiny dot of glue and then put these beads. You can use any other thing that you feel like, something bigger, smaller. I've selected this one right in the center of it. And we go on top and press. Let it dry. We'll do the same for all the 4. Because we need a little handle to pull it out. Doesn't want to come out. There you go. And the last one. while it's drying, what we need is our little decorative finishing touch. Now I use a lot of air dry clay. That is one of my favorite. We like to keep the air dry clay covered so that it doesn't harden up. So always make sure that your air dry clay is covered properly. You need silicone molds for your air dry clay, and they are readily available in Amazon and different places that you can select the kind of designs that you like. Here I've selected the rope design, and there are 3 different sizes. I'm going to be selecting the very thin one so that we can go all around the edge of our matchbox, and then we're going to paint it, of course, to give it a finishing touch. I'm going to roll it out really thin and fill it my mold. If you enjoy craft, this is really satisfying and you really enjoy the process. Well, Christmas is coming up, so these could be really nice small Christmas gifts for your family and friends and loved ones. You can do so much in this. You can have your own. I'll come with some more of these designs with you, and we can do specifically for Christmas. We can do, you know, the colors, and we can do with ceramic or other mediums that I work on. So for starters, as I said, I'm doing decoupage today. I like to press my air dry clay really well. I have a little bit of water here, so I just want to go ever so lightly on the top of the clay so that to give it, and whatever the extra, to take it out. Okay, there we go. And now turn it around, give it a little tap, and then here's the reveal. Very gently you pull the silicone mold away, and voila, there you go. Very gently you pull it out so that you're not destroying the design. And if you see ever so carefully, you see how beautiful the rope has come out. Now if you see a little bit of extra air dry clay around it, you can just press it in and your design is beautiful. So we're going to be making a few of these to go around on both sides. So I'll make that. Air dry clay, it hardens, but it gives you enough time to work with it, and you don't have to rush really. But keeping it up out in the air, of course, it hardens, and it doesn't need any baking or anything. So that's the good part of it, that it really takes its shape and dries in the air. And then you get, of course, we will be doing a polyurethane coating after that to protect the surface so that it doesn't get damaged. And it's a polyurethane varnish coating that I will be doing at the end of it. Okay, there we go. Our design is really very intricate, so but we have to fill in all the crevices, and there we go. Again, a little bit with the water, the top surface. I just personally feel it sort of evens it out, and it's easier too. When you're taking it out, it's easier. And just taking the extra there you go. Again, we press it down and we're going to be very gently pulling away. Oops, it's okay. You still can use that and take out the rest. There you go. There you go. I think we'll make one more and see if it is enough. You must have noticed that I've taken a very small piece of air dry clay because I don't want to, one, the design is very intricate, so I don't need that much. Second, I don't want to leave it out in the air for a longer period of time because then it starts getting harder. Now I would need just a little bit more. Press down. Okay. And with water on top. Yeah. Turn it around, tap it down. I'm rushing, that's why it's breaking, but you can take your time when you're doing it at home. Don't rush, just go slowly and you will be able to take it out. Here I have the flexibility because I need 4 lines, so even if it breaks, it's okay. It's not a continuous line that I would be doing. So I'll put this under. Now I'll see how much more we need. We can start putting it in. I always like to glue my air dry clay because I don't want any kind of pieces coming out later, so it's better to do it in that way in the beginning. So a very thin line. Of glue, and then we're going to be putting there you go. Doing this, make sure, because this is the tray of the matchbox which is going to come out, so you don't want anything right on top of it so that it obstructs it. So you're going to do your line right underneath, right? This side doesn't matter, but we're going to come in straight line. We're going to do it right underneath, and if you can see, there is space for the drawer to come out. Okay, we're doing the same this side, tapping it ever so gently and making sure that it's aligned properly and not in the way of the match tray. I don't want glue sticking to my hand. So if you see, we have kept the tray area open, going around. Mhm. Now, remember what I said, because I'm doing it in parts, so it doesn't matter if some of the parts broke. Here I'll join it together and you won't be able to see any. So this art is a little forgiving if you have anything which is not coming out perfectly from the mold. It is forgiving for you to handle it properly. Okay, to the last side. I think we'll need just a bit, maybe one line more for the other side. It won't be enough, we'll just make a little more. Okay. There we go. Pinch these edges together. Okay. Just making sure that the tray is not. I always like to go over it with a little bit of water. Okay, so here you see that we have done all the 4 sides with our air dry clay, and again making sure that our drawer space which has to come out is clear and it's not going to be obstructing, the air dry clay is not going to be obstructing that. So for all 4 sides. Now for this video, naturally I have to expedite what I'm doing, so I will be usually I would keep it for a couple of hours for the air dry clay to dry, but here for the video I will be doing a little bit of hot air to dry it up, and then I'll paint it and show you the final product. So let's begin. Okay. It's still not dry, but we will start with our. Don't do that at home. You have the liberty to wait for a little bit. So do wait so that your product is well dried before you start with your paint. So here I'm going to be doing the base coat is going to be all black all around, and I'm using a thin brush because my design is very delicate. And I don't want to ruin anything close to it. So I'll be here. MORAY needs to put on her glasses. Okay. So I'll be doing the paint. Here I'll just add just a tiny bit of water. Once it's dry, then you don't have to worry about the design getting spoiled, because right now it's quite soft, and that's why I have to be extra careful with the painting. I don't want to do anything to the design. Okay, so we are almost done with our base paint all around. If you see, as I said, when you're doing it at home in your leisure time, please wait for it to dry completely so that you're not scared of spoiling the design. But here I've just completed the base. Now what I'm going to do is, because I have to antique it, so I will be air drying it a little so that I can do my second layer of paint on top. For the antique part, what we're going to be using, because I want to enhance the gold look in it and give it a little bit of touch for it, so I will be using royal gold here. Again, acrylic paint, Just a little bit is enough, and then we need our sponge. Why I'm not keeping this on the table is because the air dry clay is still a little soft and I don't want it to lose its shape. Now when you're doing antiquing, when you put it on your sponge, make sure that it is not, it's not a blob of paint on top, because then, too much of color is going to come out. So you always tap it out so it's not too much of paint on your sponge. I'm going to go ever so lightly on top of my row and see how it comes alive. There we go. And it captures the beauty of the gold which is in our design. There you go, on 4 sides. Very gentle hands. Here we go. We have our design now. To protect, if you see all around, looks really beautiful. Now to protect our surface, what we would need is the polyurethane varnish. That is going to protect our surface because this is paper, and even the ceramic part. So we don't want our ceramic part or the paper to be damaged in any way or scratched. So once you put the polyurethane coating on top, that's going to protect it. So I'm going to be, again, when you're at home, please wait for your paint and for your glue and decoupage area to dry fully. After that you apply it, but for the sake of the video we will have to expedite. Before that, I'll just very quickly do my hot gun with it so that I dry it out a little. Now here I have my polyurethane varnish. It comes clear, it's white now, but after drying it's all clear. So you don't worry about it, it won't spoil your work area. So I'm just going to go with the even brush strokes right on top of my work area. It comes both in matte and in gloss finish. This one is a little gloss. For this particular art project, I wanted a little glossy finish to it, but you can do matte if that is what your preference is. Okay, just making sure that you're going in nice straight strokes. And I will also go over my air dry clay part also, so that I protect my clay area as well. Okay, so as you see that we have done the paint all around, and then we've antiqued it with the royal gold acrylic paint, and here's the finished product, and our matchboxes are ready. I'm being a little delicate with it because my art piece is still a little wet, but once you make it, it will be all good. So enjoy your little matchbox.